welcome to the channel. I've had my Lotus Esprit now for almost 2 years, and last winter it kind of survived because it was in the garage quite a lot of the time. It's having some engine work done. Catch up on my previous videos if you'd like to see what happened there. So this year it's been incredibly wet over this autumn, and I've had this cover on. This is a Classic Editions Ultimate outdoor cover. It's breathable, but people are saying it's not the best idea to have on a fiberglass car because of the damage that it can do to the paintwork. So I've bitten the bullet and I've gone for a different solution for this winter. I looked at something called a Carcoon, but they just don't have them in stock, and it would have taken maybe 6 or 8 weeks before I could get one, which would actually be well into winter. It's now sort of a week or two before Christmas, December. So I've tried this other one. It's from In the Garage, and it's a car bubble, if you like. So what I'm going to try and do is to fit it to the car, or to get the car inside it. One of the things I've got to do first, obviously got to take off the other cover, and then I've got to take the car for a drive to warm it up, because I just think warming it up and getting it sort of dry inside, because there's a fair bit of condensation I think coming up from the ground. If I can get that all dried out and then put it in the bubble, hopefully that'll be a better option for it. So we'll see how we get on. So as is quite typical when you do this kind of thing, the battery's flat. I've not had the car out for a while. It's just been too wet. And the irony of this thing is that I've had this cover now for about a week or two, but I've had to wait for the weather to get better to put it back on, So it's just one of those things, I guess. But now I've got a reasonably dry day. I was hoping to get this out to dry it off, but the battery's flat, so I've got to give it a bit of a charge before I can get it started and give it a quick whiz around the block. So here it is, as delivered. There you go. inthegarage.com. I ordered it on a Monday and it was delivered the Wednesday, so I think that's pretty good going, particularly given its main competitor couldn't deliver for another month or two. So let's give it a go. Let's open up the straps. Ooh, blimey. It's a pretty heavy thing. I guess there's a fan motor and whatever, as well as the cover itself. Let's see what we've got in here. More cardboard. There you go, that's the cover itself all rolled up. They come in, blimey, that is a heavy bit. It's obviously the really thick plastic. I'm guessing that's the kind of the bit that goes against the ground. These come in a number of different sizes. I think I had to go for the 14-foot version, which is what, nearly 5 meters. The car I think is about 4.3 meters long, but obviously you have to have a bit either end for the just to give it a bit of airspace. So other things in the box, we've got 2 smaller boxes, one that's sort of relatively heavy and one that feels almost empty, and then there's this strip of, I don't know what it is, strip of plastic vinyl. Not entirely sure whether that's part of it or if that's just something of the packaging, but it seems like it should do something. But I will undoubtedly find out as I progress through the instructions. Okay, so this is the lighter of the 2 boxes, and we have, so light it won't even fold back without letting go. Couple of vinyl patches, a few vinyl patches. I'm guessing they're sort of repair patches if you get a puncture. Important instructions, that'll be good. And these are the air filters, I guess, that go on the fans to stop dust getting in. Okay, that's that one. And then the heavier one of the 2, that's the kind of the fan unit and the cables. So this is something that has to be plugged in the whole time. It sort of keeps it inflated. I know that the competitor has sort of 2 settings, of a sort of a dry out setting where it's going really fast, and then a sort of a maintained setting. But we'll see what this one could well be a little bit different. So I think what I better do is read the instructions. See you in a bit. So you can see I've rolled out the cover, then I had to unzip and roll the top of it forwards to be out of the way, and I had to drive the car in. Now ideally I'd like to have backed it in, but because that's where the battery is at that end, but I think this will do for now. I've got a cable that I can go that length if I need to. The only thing that was a little bit difficult was these sides sort of folded over, so first attempt I managed to drive onto them with the wheels, so I sort of backed off and sort of folded them out, make sure they're out, and I think that's pretty much it in terms of, you know, positioning. The next thing to do was to fit the fans. Now it's just a kind of a plate, and the back of it's Velcro, and it just sort of fits onto there. There's a little bit of creasing in it, so I had to try and straighten that out, what it sits to, that it fixes to, but that's the next step. After this I've got to feed the kind of power adapter through this sort of small slot here, to then connect into that, and then I guess it'll be sort of the start of then folding it over. Now that fan's only been going for a few minutes, but it's pretty well inflated. So that extra bit of vinyl plastic was actually a kind of a brace for inside of there, just to keep that open. Obviously that's where the fans are, under there. And then once it's inflated, you pop these filters over the top just to stop any dust going in. So I suppose the downside of this for a Lotus Esprit is the Lotus Esprit is only to there, so you got all this air that's being kind of having to be inflated and kept inflated, and it's quite a balloon. Still a little bit to go, still could be more inflated. And just in case you've got a number of these and you forget which car you've put in which, you've got a little window there where you can see through to the car. So it's not the most attractive looking thing, but hopefully, come the worst of the winter, when it's frosty, when snow's on the falling, that will keep my pride and joy nice and sort of dry at least, and away from the frost and that kind of damage. So you can see if it got really windy, there's some strong points where you could guy line it down to the ground. There's obviously 6 of those on corners and the sides. So I'm not sure how this will fare in the wind. That's my only issue, I think. if I get a windy day I'll try and get some shots of it, but I guess for now, for what it costs, which was I think about £700 thereabouts, I don't think that's too bad a sort of solution, even if it's an interim solution before I can get a garage built. I've had the car shield up now for a couple of days. It's a bit breezy today, it's not windy, but it's wobbling around a little bit. But the biggest issue we've kind of found really is that it's actually quite noisy, probably a bit noisier than we're expecting. Those fans are on constantly and they're constantly on full power, there's no sort of half setting. But I immediately, the day I put it up, I sent an email to the company, to In the Garage, and I had a response back within an hour or two with a solution. So obviously it's come up before, and that was to fit a dimmer switch from LED strip lighting. So obviously that's what the kind of power pack is made for. And so I ordered some from Amazon. Came the next day, so here we are, just 2 days later, and I'm able to fit that. And they're recommending a setting of sort of about 70%. So obviously you can dial it down from sort of 0 to 100. But yeah, to put it about 70 gives enough power to inflate the car shield bubble and to keep it inflated, but then you know, a significant noise reduction. So I'm going to fit this and see what happens. So obviously I've had to let the air out and to turn it off to get to the power supply to fit this. So this will be what's fitted kind of in line to the motor or to the fans. But yeah, this is you know, it's interesting. It's taking a little while to come down. If it weren't for the wind, it would be coming down fairly square as well. So you know, worst case scenario, if the power goes, it's not the end of the world. So hopefully you can just see in there, you've got the power coming in here. All I have to do is break that connection there and fit this. Easy to do one-handed. So there's a kind of thumb wheel on there, which you just have to wheel round. So that'll be on full, and that'll be off completely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug it in, and then just adjust it to see where I think is right. Okay, now, right, it's plugged in. So it's moment of truth. There you go, so that's on full. So that's quite a lot of difference in noise, isn't it? And that's off. I think what I'm going to do is to put some white marks on there just so I can see where 75% is. Okay, so I've made red marks as it is. Got some red paint, so I've made it off, full on, and then at kind of 25% steps round. So if I then turn it so that it's around just below this mark here, that should be around 70%. So it's understandably a little bit slower to inflate than with the full power, but it's coming up, and I've every confidence that it will stay up at with it on at about 70%, and it is significantly quieter. So all being good, this will be how it sits for the winter. If there's any more updates on this, I'll let you know, but as of now I'm pretty pleased with the outcome, and we'll see how it goes for the winter. So if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. Other than that, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.